Hello everyone, welcome to the YouTube channel of Victory IAS. In this session, we are talking about a very important topic of environment and ecology, which is air pollution. The topic has been asked several times in UPSC Prelims as well as mains examination. Today we are going to take up all the contemporary issues that have been seen with respect to the topic air pollution. So, without wasting much time, let's begin with the first topic. So, first topic is related to the new targets have been set under NCAP program, National Clean Air Program. So, if you look at this program, we'll talk about this program in detail, but let me tell you that this program was launched in 2019 and in 2024 there have been certain changes under the objective of this program. So, let us see what are the changes, but before that, broadly these are the objectives of the National Clean Air Program. So, as the name itself suggests that National Clean Air Program aims to improve the air quality across the country in different cities of the country basically. So, it is providing the guideline for indoor air pollution. Do not forget, it does not only talk about the outdoor air pollution, it also includes the indoor air pollution and provides guidelines for the same. It has a number of monitoring stations installed in order to observe the pollution level in different urban areas, and then air information centers for analysis and processing of the data. Then resource apportionment studies, set up national inventory basically for processing of data, these things are being done. Then public participation is also ensured in order to ensure that the air quality is maintained at the highest level. The ground level community participation makes a great sense when it comes to preventing the environmental degradation. Then obviously, every city will have different kind of problem. So, the guidelines of this NCAP are city centric. They are tailored in such a manner that they are taking care of the problems of the each and every city, and accordingly the guidelines have been formulated. So, these are the broadly the objectives. Indian government has set up a new target. What is that new target? The new target is that now the government of India will try and reduce 40% of PM matter, particulate matter, that are PM 2.5 and PM 10. These two are recognized as the air pollutants. We will talk about the more air pollutants as well, but these two are the particulate matters which are considered to be air pollutants. So, Government of India is basically targeting to reduce the PM2 particulate matter by 40% up to 2026. Earlier, the target was for 2024 and the objective was that they are trying to reduce this PM2 particulate matter emission up to 20 to 30%. So, this has been changed now. So, this is an important development with respect to NCAP. Let's talk more about this program. According to the Environment Ministry, 95 of 131 non-attainment cities. This itself is a question, non-attainment cities. But before that, 95 of 131, certain books will also write 132. So, whether they write 131, 132 makes sense to us. Covered under NCAP have reduced their PM levels in 2021. So, certain cities there have been reduction when compared with the 2017 level. Basically, this program, if you read about this program, this is trying to reduce the pollutants compared to 2017 level. So, baseline for this program is year 2017. Then non-attainment cities are those which have fallen short of national ambient air quality standards for over 5 years. Those years are considered to be 2011 to 2015. So basically this program is talking about nearly 130 non-attainment cities which have actually failed to stick to the guidelines or the standards of NAAQS, National Air Ambient Air Quality Standards. We'll talk about this in detail, don't worry. Then 20 cities have met the national standards. That is what I said, that there are few cities which have met the national standards, but majority of the cities have failed, which is 60 micrograms per cubic meter. So this is India's standard, and do not forget this is the annual average. This PM10 concentration or PM2.5 concentration is measured at the annual level as well as at the daily level, or call it 24-hour exposure. So it is saying that the NAAQS says that there should not be exposure of PM10 up to not beyond 60 micrograms. So that is the idea. Cities have showed an overall improvement in PM10 concentration since 2017. These are the cities, those have shown some kind of improvement, but this improvement does not mean that they are performing as per the standards given by the NAAQS. No, there have been only the indication of improvement because of a number of initiatives taken by the Government of India as well as the state governments. Moving further, this is a very important topic, you should know about this. What is this National Clean Air Program? So this program was launched in 2019, the first ever national framework for air quality management within a time bound manner. So earlier the target was that by 2024 there should be reduction of PM matter by 20 to 30%, but this has been revised and now the target has been revised to 2026 and reduction is expected to be up to 40% of particulate matter. Particulate matters are the suspended air particles in the atmosphere. Could be air particles, could be solid particles, could be liquid particles, anything. It aims to bring down the concentration of PM10 and PM2.5 across India compared to what level? 2017. So do remember this baseline as the base for the comparison of concentration of the pollutants. Under NCAP city specific action plans, so the action plans have been tailored as per the needs of the specific cities. It aims to improve the capacity to manage air pollution and raise public awareness. So basically it will include the ground level stakeholders as well, the local community as well, which is a right strategy obviously. Then let's talk about certain things, certain policy regulations in India with respect to air pollution. So when it comes to air pollution, the first important development happened in 1981. So this story begins from 1981 when Government of India enacted Air Pollution and Control of Air Prevention and Control of Pollution Act 1981. Under this act, National Pollution Control Board and State Pollution Control Boards at the national level as well as at the state levels have been created. So this National Pollution Control Board and State Pollution Control Boards have been created under this act. Every now and then you will come across this board which is responsible for obviously controlling not only air pollution, it will also take care of other types of pollutions as well, but primarily it is related to air pollution. So, National Pollution Control Board has been constituted under this act, Air Prevention and Control of Pollution Act 1981. So, under this act, these bodies have been created obviously with the intent of preventing and controlling the different types of pollutions, especially the air pollution, because that was the major pollution then. 1984, later on, some 3 years later, National Ambient Air Quality Monitoring Program. This is also related to air pollution. So, following this act in 1984, Government of India came up with National Ambient Air Quality Monitoring Program. So, basically the idea over here was to set up different monitoring stations in different important cities of the country in order to track the level of air pollution, in order to track the level of air pollutants present in the atmosphere. So, monitoring stations were installed at different places. At present, there are over 800 monitoring stations spread across the more than 300 countries. If you have to be exact, it is close to 340 cities, obviously across all the states and UTs of the country. So, National Ambient Air Quality Standard for key pollutants, see, it also identified the key pollutants. What are the key air pollutants? Do not forget, we are talking about the air pollution. So, it basically recognized initially only 3 air pollutants in the beginning in 1984, but later on that number has been increased to 12 key air pollutants. So, do remember those names for the prelims examination. The question could be like, which of the following are the air pollutants included under NAQS, National Ambient Air Quality Standards. So, initially there were only 3. Those 3 were the nitrogen dioxide, sulfur dioxide and particulate matter. So, basically these 2 were part of a single air pollutant called PM, particulate matter. Later on it was divided into PM 2.5 and PM 10. Anyway, so at present there are 12 key pollutants starting from the nitrogen dioxide, sulfur dioxide. At times it is also written oxides of nitrogen and sulfur, makes sense. Then PM 10 is one, PM 2.5 is another one. Basically PM 10 is the particulate matter, the suspended particles, whether could be solid, liquid or gas, of the diameter of nearly 10 micrometer. And when that size is of the diameter of nearly 2.5 micrometer, then it is called PM 2.5. So, it is more harmful. PM 2.5 is more harmful because it can penetrate under your skin as well from the atmosphere itself. Then next one is very important, carbon monoxide. CO2 is not part here. If you look at the key air pollutant under NAQS, CO2 is not part over here. So, CO2 is not considered to be air pollutant under any important regulation. In fact, UPSC one year asked a question that whether CO2 is an air pollutant or not. So, answer is no. CO2 is an important global warming gas. We have already talked about the global warming gases, but it is not considered to be per se an air pollutant. Anyway, moving further, the 6th air pollutant is ozone. See, you need to understand, ozone in the upper troposphere is good for us, is good for the human survival because it is protecting the harmful UV rays. But ozone present in the lower troposphere is not good for human health. So, that is why ozone in the lower troposphere is considered to be air pollutant. Then lead, PB stands for lead. Lead is carcinogenic, cancer causing. Then ammonia Another important air pollutant, benzene, yes, very harmful, benzopyrene, arsenic and nickel. So these are the 12 key air pollutants that have been included under National Ambient Air Quality Standards, and this National Ambient Air Quality Standards have been created or is basically under the National Ambient Air Quality Monitoring Program of 1984. This was revised in the last, it was revised in 2009. Then you need to also understand that these are the 12 key air pollutants under NACS. But there is something else, there is something called AQI. So AQI was launched in 2014, Air Quality Index. So this Air Quality Index, first of all, it is also trying to monitor the pollution level in the atmosphere, but it is recognizing only 8 pollutants. So do remember that under NACS we have 12 air pollutants, and under AQI, which is more later version of identifying the level of air pollution, is identifying only 8 air pollutants. So first 8 air pollutants, oxides of nitrogen, sulfur, PM10, PM2.5, ozone, lead, ammonia and benzene. Not benzene, I would say only up to ammonia. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So these 8 are recognized under AQI. So basically based on the level of the air pollution, they have also created 6 categories, and every now and then in the newspaper you will come across such things that Delhi's pollution level is in the severe quality or very poor quality. So those are the technical categories given by AQI. Obviously this AQI is maintained by National Pollution Control Board, that it has been developed by this only. So these 6 categories include, the first category is good category, the pollution level is between 0 to 50, then satisfactory 51 to 100, then third category is 100 to 200, more than 100 to 200. So basically in the beginning there is a gap of 50, and then later on there is a gap of 100, that is the moderate one. Then comes poor, poor is again more than 200 to 300, then very poor from more than 300 to 400, and then the severe air pollution condition, which is beyond 400, usually considered up to 500, but it might go beyond that as well. Okay, moving further. There is a very small news related to the same topic. So let's have some idea about this. Limited improvement in the air pollution. Such arguments could be used in the mains examination. It has a very limited possibility कि ये prelims में आएगा, but it could be asked in the mains examination. Just remember that despite efforts at different levels, at the national level, at the state level, as well as at the international level, air pollution is still a burning problem for the world as well as for the responsible countries in the world. So we get to know that an analysis is saying that environmental think tank, this is a Center for Science and Environment. Basically this is a Delhi based not for profit organization, which reports that there is limited improvement. If you remember in the last, in the second last slide or third slide, we also talked about there are only few cities where there is improvement in the pollution level. So it is saying the same thing. So just remember some of the important organizations which are specifically working for these things. If you write these things, you find good marks in the mains examination anyway. So it is reporting that there is limited improvement in PM 2.5 level for the cities under NCAP. So at times you get questions to evaluate certain programs of Government of India. So let's say you get a question that evaluate this program. So if you quote this, this organization, this not-for-profit organization, which is a Delhi-based organization, you will fetch much better marks. Moving further, then there is an important report which has been released by a US based research agency. That agency is Health Effects Institute, and it released basically air quality and health in cities report based on the obviously the quality of the air, and report says that the biggest cities, the topmost cities of the world, do not forget it is a global report, biggest cities and the urban areas of the world are witnessing worst air quality. It is nothing new. Every now and then in the newspaper we come across London is witnessing air pollution, Delhi is witnessing, China's Beijing is witnessing. So almost all the important cities of the world are witnessing worst air quality. This is happening because of that friction between the development and the environment. Basically the environment has been given a backseat, and in the name of development we are destroying the environment. The report includes a comprehensive and a detailed analysis of air pollution and global health effects. It is basically observing 7,000 cities worldwide focused on 2 harmful pollutants. Just remember, if you get this question in prelims, it is focusing on only 2 pollutants. One is PM 2.5 and another one is nitrogen dioxide. So these 2 pollutants have been taken into consideration in order to analyze the air pollution level across 7,000 cities of the world and their health impacts. So let's see the report. So basically over here I have integrated 2-3 news together so that we do not have to repeat the same points. So there was another news wherein it was related to India. So let me tell you that, and then I will come back again to the report. So as per the report, as per the same report, Delhi and Kolkata in India are the first and the second globally when it comes to higher level of PM 2.5 pollution. So globally it is Delhi, and second it is Kolkata, which is experiencing highest level of PM 2.5 pollution, which should be a concern for Government of India as well as the countries of the world as well. Anyway, so this is the report broadly saying that the first rank with respect to PM 2.5, nothing to be proud of, is held by Delhi and then Kolkata. Third is Kano in Nigeria. At least look at these important cities so that there might be a question in mapping as well. Not necessary that there would be a question on this table, no. But if you can have a look in the map where these cities are located, that could be a good preparation, for the geography based mapping questions. Then Lima in Peru, then Dhaka, obviously you must be knowing Dhaka, Jakarta you must be knowing Indonesia, Lagos in Nigeria. So just have a look, just map these important cities in the atlas. Okay. So with respect to NO2, it is Shanghai, it is China which is witnessing the highest level of pollution with respect to NO2, and second country is Moscow. So if you look at these countries, these are the countries which belong to either low income or middle income group. So cities of the middle income or low income group are experiencing pollution, highest pollution with respect to particulate matter 2.5. But when it comes to NO2 pollution, it is all kinds of countries. Look at this, these are some of the developed countries, Russia, China, Egypt, and as well as the developing countries. So, developed as well as developing countries or not developed, because calling developed is the discretion of a country, but we can say the high income group countries are having the problem of NO2, obviously along with the low income group countries as well. Over here it is majorly the low income and the middle income countries, but over here it is a mix of high income, low income as well as middle income groups. Okay, so there is a homework for you, that just mark these locations over the atlas. Moving further, Delhi has had an annual exposure level of 110. So, what is the exposure level? That is not important, but you should know that the annual average concentration of PM5 should not exceed 5 microgram per meter cube, and if you look at the facts, it is nearly 22 times more than the recommended number. So, it is a grave concern for the country as well as for the international community as well, because people belonging to different parts reside in Delhi. It is a cosmopolitan world now today. So, we need to take care of the air pollution not only at the national level, but at the global level as well. Anyway, Kolkata came second with 84, again recommended is 5 microgram per meter cube, and this recommendation is on annual exposure basis. If you go daily exposure basis, so this would increase, because on a daily basis for 24 hours you can afford to have some more. So, it is 15 microgram per meter cube, and this data I am giving you from the NAQ, National Ambient Air Quality Standards, which provides the guidelines about the recommended level of these pollutants. Shanghai led the list of cities most polluted due to NO2, as we have already discussed. Then trend of exposure, if you talk about the report, it is saying that PM 2.5 pollution tended to be higher in cities located in low and middle income countries, as I already showed you, and then greatest health impacts can be seen across these countries. Why? It is seen mostly in the developing or say the middle income or the low income countries, because if you look at these countries are undertaking a number of developmental activities, and those developmental activities are especially related to construction. Those construction activities are responsible for release of a large volume of the particulate matter, especially 2.5 and 2.5 and PM10. So, that is why the developing countries or low and middle income countries are witnessing this problem more compared to the high income group countries. Anyway, NO2 level was found to be higher across cities in high income as well as the low and middle income countries. So, do not get confused here, it is a mix of everything, but in the first case, the usual case is that it is the middle and the low income countries. Then NO2 is produced mainly from the burning of fuels, mostly in older vehicles, power plants, industrial facilities, residential cooking and heating mechanism. Anyway, so these are the important highlights of the report. Moving further, if you can remember this, this is not for prelims, but this should be used in the mains examination. In 2019, the report is saying that in 2019, nearly 2 million, or to be exact 1.7 million deaths are linked to PM 2.5 exposure. Okay. Then there is another small campaign, a very small news, but we should know the name of this campaign, the Shoonya campaign, which is nothing but zero pollution mobility campaign. It has been launched by Niti Aayog. Niti Aayog, if you know, the present think tank for Government of India, Niti Aayog, and it was launched way back in 2020 with the objective of promoting electrical vehicles, use of electrical vehicles, especially for delivery, for the delivery of the items, so that the emission from transport sector could be minimized or could be brought to the level of 0. So that was the objective, and that is why it has been named as Shuni. So it was part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, aims to improve air quality in India by accelerating deployment of electric vehicles. So basically it is trying to electrify the entire transport sector with the intent of making the pollution from the transport sector to the level of 0 or Shuni. So just remember that it was launched by Niti Aayog and broadly the objective. Then there is one other news related to link between anemia and PM 2.5 exposure. PM 2.5, as we already said in the beginning itself, that it is an important, a key air pollutant. There is a study conducted by the scholars and the researchers from India, China and US, and they have been saying that there is a link between PM 2.5 and anemia, which is prevalent mostly in India. We will talk about that. So what is that link? So according to the study, PM 2.5 sources, these are the important sources which are prominently associated with anemia. So PM could be of different nature, could be of sulfates, could be of carbonates, could be of black carbons, could be of pollen grains, small dust particles, but PM belonging to sulfate and black carbons are especially associated with anemia than the organics and the dust. Then long-term exposure to the particulate matter can increase prevalence of anemia among the women in their reproductive age group, which is 15 to 45 years. So basically this long-term exposure of PM 2.5 is leading to systemic inflammation, and because of that systemic inflammation, the problem of anemia is caused among the women. According to the study, for every 10 microgram cubic meter of air increase in ambient 2.5 exposure, the average anemia prevalence among women increases by 7%. So for every 10 microgram per meter cube exposure increased of PM 2.5, there is a chance of increase in anemia prevalence up to 7.23%. So that is the report. Moving further, let's talk about a bit about anemia. So anemia's prevalence, basically anemia is a condition characterized by lack of healthy blood cells. Basically the red blood cells gets depleted, gets ruptured, and they are unable to transfer the oxygen that they are supposed to transfer to the tissues, so causing a lot of problems to the body. So it is basically characterized by lack of healthy blood cells required for carrying adequate oxygen to the tissues. It is often accompanied by disease in red blood cells and depleted blood hemoglobin concentration. It is among the major contributor to global disease burden. Women of reproductive age, because of regular menstruation, suffer from this problem prominently. But there are other factors as well responsible for anemia. Those other factors include the genetic disorders, parasitic infection, then inflammation from infections, and then chronic diseases. WHO has set the target of halving anemia among women by 2053. So that is the global target. In India, anemia is highly prevalent, as I said in the beginning. According to National Family and Health Survey, nearly 53% of women of the reproductive age group 15 to 45 years and nearly 58% of the children under the age of 5 years suffer from anemia in India. So basically, almost every second woman in India suffer from anemia. So this is the level of anemia prevalence in the country, and the reports are suggesting that it is also associated with the exposure of particulate matter 2.5. Then the last topic of the session, aerosol pollution. So a study has been conducted by Bose Institute of Calcutta, which is saying that West Bengal is expected to increase, the aerosol pollution in West Bengal is expected to increase by 8%, which is worst after Bihar. So Bihar is again over here the topmost, again nothing to be proud of, but yes, then and remain in the very sensitive red zone of aerosol pollution. Aerosols, if you know, aerosols are basically a collection of very small size gas particles. They could be solid, liquid or gas as well, but their size is typically less than 1 micrometer. So all those suspended particles, which are kind of a collection of gases, which could be, those gases could be created because of the solids, because of the liquid droplets, but they are of the size of less than 1 micrometer, and they are obviously suspended in the atmosphere. So those are the aerosols. So aerosols have relatively smaller size compared to particulate matters. So if you know, we have recognized two kind of particulate matter, PM10 and PM2.5. This PM10 and PM2.5 could be present in these aerosols. You know, so aerosols is a broader category, PM10 and PM2.5 is a subcategory under these aerosols. They could be created naturally because of fog formation, mist formation, or they could be created because of the anthropogenic pollutants, mist, all these things. Aerosol optical depth is a quantitative estimate of the amount of aerosol in the atmosphere. So basically, this estimate was used by the Bose Institute of Calcutta to figure out the level of aerosol pollution in different parts of the country. High aerosol amounts include particulate matter, as I said, among the other pollutants as well as sea salts, dust, pollens, carbons, all those things. This can be harmful to people's health if inhaled. Obviously, it is very harmful. It might cause respiratory and lung related disease to the human beings. Then highlights of the study. Study provides a national scenario of aerosol pollution. As I said, that the study has been conducted at the national level with the long term trend and future scenario for various Indian states. Vehicular emissions, construction driver dust, result of over urbanization, vehicular driven dust and solid fuel burning remain the topmost sources of aerosol pollution. So basically, the dust particles which are released because of the construction activities, because of the vehicular movements, because of some kind of mining activities are the major sources of the aerosol pollution in the country. Introduction of BS6 fuel standards and upgradation of engines, ban on 15-year-old vehicles, these measures could effectively reduce the aerosol pollution. We are not going to talk about this in detail as it is a topic for the mains examination. So this is all for the day. Thank you so very much. Have a great day.